Fernie, I'm ready for boot camp.
Of course you're ready for boot camp.
It's going to be so
awesome.
good.
Oh, it is. I love what you did with the watering cans. It's so cute.
What, writing on them?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just really cute.
You like that?
I'm a visual learner, right? So anytime someone creates a visual, it actually really helps me. I know that practicing and hands-on really matters, but having a visual representation of an idea is actually how I learn. So I love it when I see you do things like that because it makes me actually learn it. Like I've heard you talk about that, the difference between those two things, what you do with fertilizer, what you do with an inoculant multiple times, but seeing it like that actually helped me understand it. And I mean, like, I've listened to you for years. But I just saw it 5 minutes ago. I'm like, oh, wow.
I did on our last day, we always do a session, and I just call it, I don't even tell the people, I just call it Success at Home. And that's just so I know what I'm talking about when we start that class. And
right.
It's the last class we do. It's a couple hours long before everybody leaves. And I was explaining, okay, what are you going to do when you go home? People are giving me all their answers, and they had learned quite a bit, but they just didn't get the difference between an inoculant and a fertilizer. And I had said it 14 times during boot camp, but we just don't know what we don't know. Nobody had quite got it yet, and I thought, I'm going to change that. That's why I wrote it on there, because then I can hold them up. And I thought, when we're out here doing the hands-on, let's have people actually make... Because the first boot camp I ever did, I came out and I got all my hands were all nasty, and I'm down there, I'm massaging the inoculant, and I'm getting it all gross. And I said, okay, who wants to jump in and do this? Nobody did. They said, well, I don't need to do it. I just watched you do it. That's what somebody said. and I thought, okay, so this was hands-on. I was the hands-on. Everybody else watched. This year...
Everybody's getting hands-on.
This year, I'm going to divide everybody up in twos. Everybody gets a 5-gallon bucket. Everybody gets a pink strainer. Everybody's going to grab some compost. They're going to work as... So if we have somebody that has allergic problems with their hand and they can't touch something, actually the best thing for eczema is probably getting in that compost.
Well, that's actually true. You know, I had that happen with a brother of mine, but anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
getting dirty was the cure for dermatitis.
So I think boot camp's going to be great. But,
oh, I think it's going to be awesome.
See, I brought in all the tubs of compost from the root cellar. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think I have 17 tubs.
Class prep right there. Look at that.
Compost. And then I've got the cardboard.
I like that you've got your compost stuff ready to go right here.
See all this?
Look at that.
See all the cardboard there?
Yeah.
A great big bunch of cardboard. And I let a whole bunch of weeds grow. I normally wouldn't do this, except this is the problem that people have. So I let it grow crazy like. Last fall, I didn't do anything about this because this is what people deal with in their gardens. They say the weeds got away from me, I can't garden. Hello, I let it happen. If this was my garden, this isn't my garden. This is the boot camp classroom.
You're not going to lay claim to that, right?
No, I wouldn't have ever let this happen. This was my garden over here. See how it's nice? And there's some clover. There's a couple of random grasses. There, you know. Here's a garlic coming up. This is all planted to late garlic. Here's one, and there's one. There, see, they're starting to come up. So that's all planted. That's how I keep my garden. But this is what people deal with. This is the real world and why people get frustrated with gardening. Because the weeds just went everywhere and took it.
So you're going to show them how to get it back.
I'm going to show them how to get it back. So there's the cardboard that we're going to smother the weeds with, and there's all the tubs.
Because there is a way to get it back.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not that hard. And
yeah,
then,
I've watched you do it before. You're pretty good.
We'll plant it, and then we'll inoculate it, then we'll fertilize it, then we'll water it, and we'll do all that in boot camp.
So lots of hands-on, lots of visuals, lots of answers to questions. This is going to be a good time.
And then the shallots. We're going to plant shallots. I kept some shallots I didn't plant. You're supposed to plant them so that they're this size at this time of year. But these are the most fantastic little...
Flavor on them is amazing.
These greens are the best. It's almost like taking a green onion and dipping it in sugar.
Oh, I want some. If it's dipped in sugar, give me some of that.
They're the best flavored allium I've ever eaten.
Oh. Wow.
They're just really good. So anything you chop up green onions for and put on, like enchiladas,
Wow, that's really
whatever,
good.
the shallot greens.
Well, you get the flavor without like the burn. Like you and I have kind of wimpy tongues, right? But it's full flavor without any pain on your tongue. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Here we are, mid-January, and look at this lettuce. This lettuce has been growing here with no floating row cover on it. But we come through and we pick the big leaves off around, or they'd be even bigger. We pick them to eat them for a salad.
This is a good experience because
But
it's just what you actually do. You've left some things. Like what if you did have a year where you just couldn't get to it because of health or circumstances? You're going to show them how, because a lot of people will have a bad season and they give up on a lot of effort that they've already put into it because they had one bad season. A garden isn't over because of one season. I had a conversation. I'm just going to throw this in here. I had a conversation with a woman just this last weekend down at the Utah Food and Farm Conference who felt really bad because she had followed a method for prepping her garden. She had and her plants didn't do good. She tilled it up, is what she did. She tilled it up. Her plants didn't do well. She had a bunch of people who were really hardcore into a couple of different methodologies that told her how bad she screwed it up. She murdered all her microbes. She's going to be a decade before she has any good crops. And I just offered her some comfort. She had a bad season. She had a lot of, well, I'm going to cry. She had a lot of really hard things happen in her life during the garden season, right? And somebody telling you got a decade that you're going to have to recover from a bad season, not only is it mean, it's inaccurate.
It's false.
It's false. And I love that you're going to show people how to retrieve something that's just beautiful. A garden is healing. It's beautiful. And if you have a hard season, you don't have to give up on your garden just because you had a bad season. Right. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your garden. Come to boot camp. William will show you how to save it.
This is the compost that Bootcamp
Look at that.
will build. So tomorrow, I'm gonna. When you see this, it won't be tomorrow. This is coming out in 4 or 5 days probably. But I'll fill these all with water so that they are hydrated, and then the Bootcamp class will put them together in here, and then it'll look like this one. This has been in here for 3 days, and I was worried about this because this morning it was 1:15. Come look at it now.
Oh, wow.
So we are at 1.
Oh, you are good. You're in good shape.
34.
Oh, I don't think it'll show up on the video, but there's actual steam coming off of that. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Yeah, well, we can make it show up on the video.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Just go like that. There, now you'll get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, look at that.
So it's working. So
no other heat source but the sun.
Once
and
you
its
reach
reaction.
And if you watched all my videos on this Patreon in this whole library, you already know that once you reach 131, that you turn it in 3 days. Okay, so if this shoots up to 180. Then it's past your 160 threshold, so we would turn it the next day. But this is such a small compost that it probably won't get to over 150. But we were going to keep monitoring this for a few days. But we're not turning this until boot camp gets there. Even if it got really hot, if it did, but I need to wait for my class, then I would just punch a couple of holes in here so that more oxygen can get in. It would cool it down a little bit.
Because this is about them having the skill of how to mix.
They need to know
this
how
is
to
the
do
ratio
this.
of how to mix your compost so that you have the right mix, because that actually really matters. Yeah. Our son last year, he had the same thing. Remember, you walked him through. He's like, I can't get it up to temperature. Yeah. You had him walk through redoing it. It was just
he did it 3 times,
and he finally got it.
And finally, we just happened to go visit him because he's our son and grandchild and all that. Well, I went and looked at his compost at the farm where he works, and it was funny because I said, so show me your, and I was digging through it, and I said, I can't see any alfalfa in here. He goes, oh, it's all over the place. And he was showing me, and I go, this is grass hay. This is not alfalfa. Who told you this was alfalfa? And he goes, the people that work here, they said they bought the highest protein alfalfa they could. I thought, well, either whoever's selling it to him is a liar, or they're a liar, or there's a whole bunch of people who are ignorant. This is not alfalfa.
So he was doing it right as far as
And
like
he said,
mixing
well,
it.
He said, I thought it looked weird because he grew up with me on the farm. He should have known better, but you know, but it's great because when he went out and got a couple of alfalfa bales, mixed them in it, and it was up to temperature in 2 days.
Just within a couple of days. Yep.
So you have to make sure that your ingredients are actually what they're supposed to be.
Because it's a chemical reaction, and you have to have the right reactants in your chemical in your equation there for the chemical reaction to happen.
That's right. Anyway, we're ready for boot camp. It's really cool.
It's gonna be good.
I think this is gonna be the best one that we've ever put on.
I'm really excited that it's winter because a lot of people think you can't do anything in the winter, and look at how busy this place is. This is great.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of food out here too. It doesn't look like a summer garden, but we've got all these beets. Look at all those patches of beets.
Yep.
We have all these green onions. We have the shallot greens. We have a bunch of lettuce. There's spinach over there.
You dig a few carrots every week,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just gonna walk over here like I said I don't do.
Well,
But look at the broccoli. And this is all growing with no floating row cover. So if I had a floating row cover, it would look a lot better. We would be getting more. Look at this cabbage. We could eat that cabbage. We've got onions here, lettuce, strawberries. Not the actual berries at this time of year, but the plants are doing good. These carrots. These carrots are exciting.
I like your little tomatillo ghosts.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Anyway, there's a lot of carrots out here.
That's a tomatillo ghost. I bet it tastes pretty good.
It hit a
little.
This area through here is compacted really bad. That video that came out maybe a month ago on when I was digging
Doing
with
soil
the shovel
compaction
cast,
and stuff, yeah.
This is that area that's really compacted. So about 1 inch down, it hit a hard pan, and then you see that it split. And this found a way to get through, but it split. That's what'll happen when you hit a hard pan. Carrots will split into two pieces. Anyway, so we're gonna.
All right. You're ready.
We're ready for boot camp. I get to rest.
Can't wait to see y'all.
Okay.
Come to boot camp.
Hopefully this helps you to dig a split carrot right before boot camp.